Hi guys, so today I'm going to be editing some photos for you. They are random photos I've found online which are completely raw and completely free, and they are from signatureedits.com, so I'll link that below as well so you can have a try. But basically I'm just going to show you how I edit my photos, what kind of process I use, the colours I go for. Let's get started. Okay, so we have I've chosen 9 random photos online. I'm going to start with this one. So I've downloaded them and they are completely raw from Signature Edits. Let me get rid of the info. So they are completely raw. Like, hopefully my presets will go on them. I don't know. I have not edited this myself yet, so I'm going to see how it looks. But I have lots of presets that I've saved over here. My default one is always this one. I love this one. However, it's not really doing it justice. Like, that was the original and that's my edit. So first thing I'm going to do, I always adjust the temperature. Oh, there we go. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Always checking. You know what? I don't think this needs much editing. It really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. I think it's stunning. Like, just adding some of that just makes a beautiful difference. You can see my settings here. I always try and have a bit of a soft image, so I always decrease the clarity if I can a little bit. One thing I like to do very recently is selecting the subject, and hopefully Lightroom, Lightroom is amazing recently. I just select the subject and I like to add a little bit of sharpness to it and a little bit of noise. That way it just makes sure that they are always in a sharp focus, and they pop against the background. Genuinely, I don't think there's much else I can do with this image, but that was the original and that's mine with my preset. So what I like to do is when I finished my edit and I want to make sure that I don't go back to it by accident, I just tap the number 8 on my keyboard and that makes the image turn green in there to know that, yep, I'm done with that one. So second, I've got a very different image. So obviously, bride getting ready in the morning on her own. Yes, with a crochet hook, that's so important. So many times I've been at a wedding where tying the back of the dress has been delayed because we've not had a crochet hook, or someone has stubby fingers like me that you can't close the back of the dress properly. But anyway, so I'm going to go back to my default, which is this one. Again, very green, not sure what's going on here. I'm going to bring up the brightness and see what we're working with. And yeah, so what I want to do is I'm going to definitely decrease the greens by moving this there. And I'm actually going to see what it looks like with different warmth to it. Okay, I'm going to increase the shadows a little bit just so she pops a bit more. And one thing I like to do is just always adjust the blue calibration, and I just see what it looks like. As you can see straight away, if I decrease it, the colours aren't as powering, but we still have some good colour tones, so they still have some good skin tones. I'm going to decrease it a little bit more. That was the original. That's what we're working after. So she's still a little bit pink, so I'm actually going to bring down the reds a little bit, just a little bit, and hopefully you can see that's made a difference there. One thing I don't like about this image, although I can see what they've done with this random branch in the way, which great if that's the style you're going for, but I don't like this random area. Like, this is not doing anything for me. I'm actually going to try and crop that out. And there's this random light at the top there as well. So let's see what it looks like if I just crop that there. It's a little bit less of a random image and it doesn't look like I'm stalking her in the bushes. But that's obviously my edit and that's after. So I'm still not happy with the colour of her dress. I don't think it reflects well on the day. What I want to do, what I always try and do, is I know that brides choose their bridesmaid dresses. You know, they take time and they choose these colours. So I want to make sure that I'm as accurate as possible to that dress. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go down to my HSL. And what I like to do is I just like to play with the saturation first and just to see if that makes a difference. If I bring that up, and I always use a dropper tool instead of playing around with all the random little knobbly bits. Basically I just want to adjust it so it kind of pops a bit more, and I always keep checking again. So my edit, it's green. Her dress is obviously like a turquoise, so it's the hue that I'm going to play around with now. So I'm just going to go on here, keep playing around with that. See, but it changes the whole image. Let's see, I might even just try the luminance and bringing that down. think you can just see your underwear as well, so probably not a best try. I'm actually going to bring up Aqua a little bit, and I'm going to decrease that. It's getting better, but it's still not as sharp, so I'm actually going to make the Aqua a bit more of a pop. That's getting better. And the greens, let's bring them up. So yes, that affects the background a little bit, but the dress is more true to life, which is, I know what the bride is going to be more picky about. She's not going to really get mad at the colour of the trees in the background. She's going to get mad because the dress does not look like the dress she bought from that shop that cost her too much money. So that's the kind of task that I've got here. I think I'm nearly there. That does nothing, so I'm just gonna turn that off. It's this one. It is this one. There we go. And I'm also gonna bring down the luminance on the Aqua. Again, you can see her underwear. That was not a good dress. Okay, so I think that's as close as I'm going to get it. What I'm going to do now, because the underwear is bothering me so much, I'm actually going to go in and I'm actually going to try and remove that line. As long as I can remove that line, we might have less of an underwear issue. So I'm just going to do this spot control thing, and it might just tidy that up a little bit. Just so it's less of an obvious. This one isn't working for me, so I'm going to use the clone, and I'm just going to clone a bit of the dress maybe from here just to get rid of the line. Nope, don't like that. Try again. Clone. Even here. Let's just move off it, see what it looks like. That looks better. So again, because I've brightened it up so much, you can see her underwear, which I don't want. Like, the poor bride is going to obviously see that. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with this. There we go. So now I've done all those adjustments, I'm going to just bring down the warmth, and it actually changes the dress as well. So I'm going to just put it enough that the dress looks white and her dress looks more accurate. Again, I'm still thinking it's a little bit blue, so let's go to the tone and change Aqua to a bit more of a turquoise. There we go. Nailed it. Right, so I think I am done. I wouldn't do too much else this image. I may just straighten it up a little bit, see how it looks. It's obvious through a window. One thing I would also say is I might even provide this image in black and white as well. The reason I do that is because there's a lot of contrast and there's a lot of shadows in this image. So what I'm going to do, I always give them both the colour copy and the black and white copy. And the reason for that is because they might want one or the other and you don't really know. And to avoid them emailing you and saying, can I have this image in black and white? And then you have to find it in your gallery and it's a nightmare. I just provide them both. So if I go black and white, oh, you can see, look at that. That is absolutely stunning in black and white. I think I even prefer it more in black and white. It just looks stunning. So that's what it was like in colour. And that's what it's like in black and white. And now looking at those, I'm actually going to brighten this up a little bit and add that there. I think I'm done with that image now. So that was the original. That's now. It's not my favourite, but I prefer it in black and white. Okay, so next we have this random couple walking into the woods to meet their death. I would not personally like this image. I would not take this image on the day. What I try and do recently is I try and avoid something called black holes or black spots in my images because I always want to try and keep my images light. So having something like this, it automatically darkens the image. Like this area here, we could have a beautiful, bright, colourful photo, and then we get up here and it's just dark and it's just going to bring down the whole image. So I know straight away my preset is not going to look good on this because I edit for bright images. This is a dark image. So let's see what it does. So I always go for the Haoshim light. So it's not too bad. It's very, very like Instagram stylish type thing. It's a bit green. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to the blue primary and just reduce. Actually, I like the golden. I'm just reducing that one there, the blues, because if I put it all the way, you can see like how saturated and blue it would look. That's the original. That's the edit. What I do from this is I just try and put them not in the center of image. I like to kind of show the couple where they're going. So just give them that kind of lead walk room. So just doing that just kind of takes them away from the center of the frame and it gives them a direction that they're going in. Again, very dark image for me. It's not the best quality as well. Like, what ISO were they on? They were on 200, so I'm not sure. Maybe the download affected it. But yeah, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and spice this up somehow. So I'm going to do my typical thing where I select the couple. And I'm going to add some sharpness and some noise, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate and invert that mask. And that what it's going to do is going to select everything that wasn't selected before. Then I'm going to decrease the texture and the clarity, so everything around them is blurred. But obviously we don't want the front of the image to be blurred, and I think that's a bit too much, so I'm just going to... There we go. We don't want the image at the front to be blurred, so I'm actually going to intersect with... Where is it? Linear gradient. There we go. That way I can create a line. So everything on this side of the line, you can see by how it turns red, is going to be in focus. So again, that's the original. That's after. It's just creating a bit of depth. And I'm going to try and see if I can remove these greens from there. Let's play around with the greens a little bit. Let's just see what happens when I love it when I bring that down, actually. Like, some people would love an image like that with the very popped greens. I prefer the darker version. Personal preference. There's no way right or the other. But I'm just going to play around with it. That turns it into more of a foresty green. Let's use the dropper, and I'm going to see if I can find some green. No, it's really hard if you're not all the way in. There we go. I'm just going to try and decrease that and change the hue of the green as well. The problem with that is it does affect the entire image, so let's see what it looks like if I pull out. So that's not too bad. It's more my style. I'd say the hay is a bit red now, so I'm actually going to bring the reds into more of a... But she's getting affected as well, so it's like a losing battle sometimes. I think, personally, that's pretty much all I'm going to do with this image. What I could do to make it a bit more fun is I could add a little bit of sun flare to the trees, and that's the good thing about having trees is you can just add a bit of sun in there, just to kind of add a pop of light. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it and then I'm going to decrease the intensity of it so it's not so obviously fake. I think that's all I'm going to do with this image. So that was before, that was after. Has a bit more style to it. I moved the crop as well, so it wasn't as central, and it does kind of add for this foreground there as well. But that is pretty much all I do with this image. Again, I would not take this type of image on the day. Walking into the darkness together is not my style. So I'm just going to close that down, and it probably will be in the gallery if I had a couple that wanted this shot, but it wouldn't be my favourites, and I definitely wouldn't post it on Instagram. So let's finish that there. Oh, this is my favourite so far. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. So I know this is going to work well with my preset. I know it is because there's no black spots. There's only a little bit there. So everything's going to be nice and bright and airy. It's going to look gorgeous. So let's see. Beautiful. I'm going to move up. Oh my God, I could just stare at this all day. I might just bring down that there as well. I don't think I'd do much else. What I may do is make the dress just pop a little bit. What I like to do is use this histogram. I'm not sure if you knew, but you can actually control the lighting on your image using this alone, which is quite cool. So I'm just going to see what it looks like with a little bit more of a pop to that. And I love that. I absolutely love that. I feel like it's slightly off the horizon, like it goes down and up. So I'm just going to adjust the horizon line. That's a bit better, but that's it. That's literally it. I love it. It's my favourite one. I'm going to do that one there. So this one's a funny one because, again, there's a lot of dark spots, a lot of green, which I personally hate. working with on a wedding day, because greens can go all over the place. So let's see what kind of image we get at the end. Let's go for this. So straight away, it's a bit too bright, so I'm going to bring down that contrast as well and just bring down that exposure. Again, very green, so let's warm it up a little bit. And I can't, that guy's eyes. Oh, I mean, sure, they're a happy couple, but I'm not convinced that she might not be murdered right now already. So I don't think I would do much else to this image. I genuinely don't. I feel like the presets kind of done it all. I might just make her dress pop a little bit. I may go in there and just kind of give her a mask, which what I like to do is I select the subject. No, I don't. What I like to do is select the person, and then you can actually now with Lightroom select parts of their face. So I'm going to choose their face and body skin, and I like to just bring down that sharpness a little bit and maybe a little bit of texture. I never play around with the clarity, because I feel like when you play around with the clarity you lose detail. If anything, I might even boost the clarity up. But that's what we had before, that's what we've got now. It adds a little bit more softness to her skin. I feel like he needs it, but I'm a bit weary of adjusting guys too much. What I might do is I might just go in there and correct his spots. So I'm just using the bandage tool, I think it is, and just kind of doing that. I think his eyes need brightening up. So let's see what that looks like with a little bit of exposure just added here, just to make him look a little bit less creepy. So that was before, and that's after, just to kind of bring that up a little bit. What I'm looking at now, one thing I haven't done is she's obviously wearing a bit of pink to her lips. The dog has a pink tongue, and the flowers are obviously pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my HSL slider, and I'm actually going to boost up the reds just to kind of have a bit more of a natural colour to that. So you can see they look a bit more true to life. Her cheeks are a bit more pink, and that's there. What I might do is just adjust the crop a little bit. Just a little bit there. And then if I'm feeling like I've got the time, I may just go in there and adjust this lovely pole that is just in the middle of the background. Lightroom tends to do the job, but saying that, it didn't today. So let's see if I can just adjust that a little bit. Come on, Lightroom. Just so it's not as obvious. Oh, that looks awful. This is what I mean about having extra time, because sometimes you can spend ages just trying to adjust one thing, and it will eat into your editing time if you're not careful. Yay! That will do. If you didn't know it was there before, you don't know it's there now. So I think I'm done with that image. So that was the before. Very green, bit less green. For people that do like green, obviously you can play around with the calibration and make it a bit more green in the background. It's personal preference. Personal preference. I don't like greens that much. I do like a bit of colour there though. Let's do that. So that's how I edit this image. Then we've got this lovely shoot, which I chose because there's so much of those editorial styles at the moment. Like people currently love having those editorial vibes to their wedding day. I personally am more of an outdoorsy barn wedding person. I love like outdoor rustic weddings, a bit of mud on the dress. That's me. But this is obviously very popular, so I thought I'd give it a go. So let's go to my default. I really like that. The one thing I don't like about this image though is it's not straight, and if I straighten it up we're going to cut her feet off, which the shoes are important, but you'll see what I mean. Like that would be straight, now she's cut off. So in this instance I'm just going to pretend it was a creative decision by them and do that. Next thing I'm going to do is I always try and make the dress pop. Like the dress is so important. I'm just going to pop that dress a little bit. And I'm just going to play around with the exposure, see what it looks like. So it's a very bright image. Obviously it was done in direct sunlight, so I just like to play around with these settings. I do like a little bit of contrast in there. It makes the sky pop out a little bit. And then let me remove the text. I'm going to check her face out. So face wise, Obviously, she's stunning, absolutely stunning, but does not have the best skin. So I've got two options. I can go in there and I can edit the main spots very quickly. I just go through, and if there's a main spot, I will just, you can see some nice, friendly ones there, some of the cheeks. But the others can kind of be forgiven. So like the little tiny ones here and there. She looks like she's been crying, so I'm just going to remove that. And then these two little buddies over here, if it'll let me. Come on, Lightroom. Then I'm going to do my usual, select the face. Lightroom is detecting people. Select the face, face skin, body skin, create mask. So what I have noticed is it has gone onto the eyes quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my adjustments, but then I'm actually going to go in and remove some of that. So again, removing the texture. So there's not a lot of texture on the skin. And then I'm going to remove down the sharpness. And I always like to add a little bit of clarity, just a little bit of clarity. So I'm going to use a brush. And I think, oh, wrong one. There we go, that's what I'm trying to do. You click on the mask and it tells you to rename it, which I don't want to do. Just subtract. I'm going to use a brush and I'm going to subtract around the eyes, just so we still have that texture in the eyebrows, because that's the windows to the soul, so we want to make sure that they are nice and clear. Might even do the nose a little bit, but I think everything else is done there. So it's very editorial. Again, I don't like the angle. I wonder if that was intentional, I don't know, but I can't crop it without losing the shoe. So that's how I'm going to leave it. That's my final image. So that was the before, and that's the after. Now, I love this couple, mainly because it's so different. And I chose this on purpose because there'll be one day in your career that you end up doing a wedding like this, wherever you are in the world, whether it's Iceland or Mexico or here in the UK. So I thought, let's choose these guys. It is a raw image. It doesn't say what camera it was on. EF 18-55. So it was a good exposure, perfect. So straight away, you know me, there's lots of black holes here. There's this big black hole, there's this big black hole, there's almost like a black hole under his hat, so he's very dark in terms of like in shadow. So using my preset might not necessarily work straight away, but let's see. Okay, so dark, so dark. Let's give it a bit of warmth. And I'm going to try and increase those shadows and see what we get. This is such a hard image for me to edit, such a hard image. The quality is not great either. Although it's very obvious light outside, the camera must have not coped very well. So that's the original. That's what we've got now. One thing I can see straight away is her dress is looking a little bit blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the this area and I'm just going to adjust these, like the calibration. If I do it all the way down, that's actually not changing a dress. It's this one I need. I like it with a bit more colour though, so let's make it, there we go, and then, okay. Oh, there's even a dog. Didn't even notice the dog. Where did the dog come from? Look. Did you guys see that? So yeah, so that's kind of like the basic preset adjustments I do. The rest I'm going to do now is adjust the face. And I am going to bring up the shadows around his face so I can see him just that little bit, because he is hiding. Like, that hat is not doing the photographer any justice, so I'm just going to bring him out the light a little bit. So I use the shadows there, and I'm going to try now and just bump up the exposure just a notch. That's better. So that's what we had before, that's what we've got now. Just, it kind of gives that extra clarity to it. One thing I've noticed as well is they are now looking red, which is not what I want, because obviously they are somewhere, it looks like South America. I want to say Mexico, judging by the attire. I have lived in Mexico, so that's not me being racist, but genuinely they look red, and that's not what we want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the saturation on their face. I'm going to choose one bit that looks really red and just bring that down. That's a bit better. Still really grainy though. Sorry, language. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is probably adjust the settings on the people like I like to do before. all people. Nope, wrong one. Nope. I'm just pressing buttons. Okay, new mask. Select subject. That's the one I want. I'm trying to work quickly so you're not like getting bored of the video. So I don't think they need any noise already on them. They don't. So I'm just going to bring up the texture a little bit so they pop. And then I'm going to duplicate and invert mask. So they've got the whole background. And then I always like to bring down the the texture and the sharpness, just so they're a bit more blurred, so it looks more stylized, it looks more intentional, so it's less like they're just standing, like, where are they even standing? Like, whose idea was it to let's photograph in front of this well that you will not see because we're standing in front of it? Anyway, apologies to the photographer if you're watching this. It's a beautiful photo. So let's just play around a little bit more with the settings, and I might even, oh, look at that, it had a weird crop on it. Let's just change that to original. Perfect. Might just crop out that a little bit so they're a bit more in the center. So that was the original, that's what I ended up with. There's genuinely not much I can do with this image apart from brighten up the shadows on their faces. Like, look at his face before, like he is like Batman, and now suddenly he's obviously a groom. I might just bring down the contrast a little bit so it's not as punchy, and then you can kind of play around with the brightness a little bit. Let's just dehaze it. There we go. So that's my edit with that one. So that's literally it. I've kept the dog in. I like the dog. Then we've got this gorgeous image. I love it. I absolutely love this image. I don't know where this is in the world, but I want to do an engagement session there. So if you find out where in the world this image is taken, I will come with you for free if you pay for my flights. So I know straight away that my preset is going to look very blue with this. So straight away I'm going to adjust the warmth of it. So let's see what it looks like. There we go. Knew straight away. When you know your preset very well and you can play with it a lot, you know what kind of effect your image is going to have. So I'm just going to bring up that. Oh, look at that. That's before, that's after. One thing I don't like is we do lose a lot of the sky. Like, they are almost floating. So I'm going to now go and try and adjust the contrast a little bit and then bring that down. And then I'm actually going to bring up the saturation a little bit. And then play with those blues. It just looks like they're standing somewhere. I'm going to adjust the crop as well, so they're more central. There we go. Before and after. So obviously this is very much in my style. I might even just, ooh, very grainy. Oh, that is stunning though. That's a genuine photo as well. Look at her. And if it's not a genuine photo, she's a great actress. So that is what I'd probably do to that image. I might even just bring up a little bit more warmth and a little bit more of the shadows. But that's before, that's after. What I would say, in fact, I'm going to bring down that. What I would say is I know this will also look very good in black and white. So I'm going to create a virtual copy and then voila. Look at that. Like, stunning, stunning image. Like, I love this. I prefer it more in black and white, but always, always, always provide the coloured version so you don't have those problems. Finally, we've got this stunning mademoiselle, who I chose this one specifically because I knew it would be good in black and white. Like, straight away I knew it was going to be good in black and white because there's lots of shadows. So when you have an image that has lots of shadows, contrast, and specifically, if you've got an image that has very light tones and then suddenly very dark tones, you know that black and white is going to be all over that. So let's just show you what it looks like in black and white because I'm too excited. I need to see. Boom. That's it. Love it. Absolutely love it. She is stunning. You can't even see the photographer in the glasses, can you? That's really weird. But yeah, stunning, stunning image. I might even bring down the exposure just that little bit, but that is what it would look like in black and white. So let's see what it looks like in colour first because that's what I'm meant to be doing right now. So we're going to try my good old preset, see what happens. Again, very green and blue. So I'm just going to bring that up and just I always keep checking back. Always just keep checking back what the image looks like. So one thing I've noticed is although her red lipstick looks stunning, there's a lot of red around her eyes, so it could be mistaken that she looks like she's been crying. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust the hue on that so she's not as red, and I'll show you what that looks like in the extreme cases. So I'm just going to bring that up, and then I'm also going to decrease the saturation, and I might even bring up the luminance. And it's not as, I mean, it still looks quite red, but it just kind of stops that. Then, because we have this gorgeous look, I'm going to make sure that her face is completely, oh, no, sometimes Lightroom likes to do its own thing, is completely fixed there. Then I'm going to go on to the pupil detecting. Beautiful. Face skin and body skin. Perfect. See, the eyelashes have disappeared again, so we'll do that in a second. So create masks, decrease that texture, decrease that sharpness, and then we're gonna bring down the brush and just remove that mask from the eyes, because again, windows to the soul, they always need to be on point. And I always like to do a little bit because I like the creases on the lips. I feel like it adds to the image. So that is with the skin. So you can see the skin before and after. Then finally, because we have her eyes so close up, I'm actually going to use the iris. So iris enhance. And that is just going to make those eyes pop a little bit. Before and after. Okay. And I think, let me just bring that lighter. I think that's all I would do. Personally. I say that and I keep playing with it, but I love that image. I feel like it's stunning. She's stunning. The lighting's stunning. Like, she's got all the jewelry on and everything. And what I might do is I might just try and bring down those whites so it's not as harsh on her arm. That's by bringing down the highlights a little bit. And then, because I just want to adjust the colour a little bit. So that's my edit. That was the before. That's after. And I'm going to do the black and white one again because we need to see it again. Black and white. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. So these are all my images edited from today. I'm going to quickly just show you what they all look like, starting from the beginning. So we had this lovely image there. That didn't need anything to do with it, like just a bit of warmth. This one was the underwear issue, which I think I mainly solved. I think I maybe could go back in there and just tweak a little bit. That's me being particular though. Adjusted the crop and obviously the lighting as well. Can I see the original? No, and let me see the original on this view. Looked amazing in black and white, absolutely stunning. This one was my worst image. I didn't like this at all. Not my style, really not something I would photograph myself on a wedding day. So just so you can see the difference there. Then we've got this beautiful, stunning image. That was the before, that was the after. If I could shoot every single wedding like this, I would. Then we had these guys here, which we had the killer husband in the background. Then we had this stunning image, which was perfect apart from the crop. These lovely guys in Mexico, that was what we had before, and that's after. Then we had the stunning, stunning image that I would go and shoot myself for free if I could. Then we've got the black and white version. Then this beautiful mademoiselle here, and then the black and white version, which I think out of all of them, my favourite would be that one. That one, obviously, because I keep talking about it. The black and white version of the dress, and then that one there as well. That is everything today, anyway, that I love. So hopefully you've seen how I edit. It's taken, I don't know, about half an hour to go through 8 images with me talking as well. What I would say is if you are editing yourself, these type of images, and you had lots of, so for example, if we look at this, if we had lots of images in the same room, you can just, let's pretend they are all the same. You can just select all of them and then sync them up with this button here. So the sync option basically applies the same settings that you had on that image and adjusts accordingly. So it will basically try and fix the exposures and things like that as well. You will still have to go through the images to adjust them, but essentially it does save you so much time. In terms of presets, you can see I have lots of presets. I have so many. I have bought so many. I've used so many. I've got different styles. I've saved so many after a shoot. So some of these are named. Oh, that was quite nice. But not my style. A lot of these were saved after a shoot, so I knew which ones they were. Some of them are presets that have been developed after another preset. So I think this one's from Rebecca Carpenter, which is stunning, by the way. But it is my favorite. But basically what I tend to do is I will use their preset and then build on it to create my own. So I've learned from what they do, I've learned what I like from their presets, and then I've learned what I don't like and then made my own presets and saved my own version. One thing that's really, really good to show you very quickly is if you do have a preset, so let's create a new virtual copy and let's reset that image. So that's the image there. So I just said that one looked nice on it. What you can do is you can put the preset on but then adjust the intensity of that. So obviously where it was too intense for me, so I could bring it down here and then adjust my settings accordingly after that. Saying that, I'm not a massive fan now, but that's better. But yeah, so that was my original edit, and that is another edit with the other preset. So that's everything for today. So hopefully you've learned some new techniques, maybe, yes or no. Comment below if there's anything that you want to suggest that I should have done differently. I also offer lots of online courses and mentoring, so I'll link those below. And there's also going to be a new video every single Friday, so please subscribe. If you have any other suggestions on videos, comment them below as well. But otherwise, I'll see you next Friday. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.